Welcome to Unapologetically Anxious Me, Confessions of a Haitian Girl, the podcast where I blend life, love, sex, and relationships with mental health, social issues, and history, all from my very unabashed perspective. Join me, Joe Ciceron, as we unravel the power of vulnerability, celebrate storytelling, our history, and connect with incredible individuals who have tales to share. Let's dive deep into our essence and the narratives that mold us, because in this space, we believe in the magic of authenticity and the beauty of being unapologetically you. Welcome back to another episode of Unapologetically Anxious Me, Confessions of a Haitian Girl. I'm your host, Joe, journalist, storyteller, mental health advocate, and your favorite overthinking, anxiety-ridden bestie. You've just arrived at the place where we like to keep it hella real, hella raw, and deeply human. And today will be no different. Every now and then, someone walks into your world whose story reminds you that purpose doesn't always show up neatly. Sometimes it's born out of pain, of pivots, of choosing yourself in rooms that were not built with you in mind. Today's guest, she's not just telling that story, she's living it. A proud Howard University alumna, a Black woman with vision, strategy, and passion, Sherece Pabs Brown is a powerhouse behind the Pabs Pineapple is a Berry, where she's rewriting the script on children's health and plant-based multivitamins, but that's only the beginning. From the towers of corporate America to building a wellness brand with cultural pride at its core, she is proof that we can reimagine success on our terms. She is a visionary, a disruptor, and today she's here to share space with us. So whether you're sitting in your car, walking through grief, or dreaming about launching the next big thing, this episode is for you.
What a wonderful introduction. So much. I'm also West Indian. I'm first generation here in the United States of Jamaican parents.
Okay.
I was born in the Boogie Down Bronx, but raised in Queens.
Okay, thank you for letting me know.
All my Queens girls and my Bronx people.
Okay.
Also, although my company is called Dr. Pabs Pineapple is a Berry, I am not a doctor. I have a group of doctors who are on the board of my company and food scientists that I go to with my formulation, and we talk about how to make it work, how to make it happen. So that's the doctor representation of the company.
So talk to me about pineapple is a berry. I didn't know pineapple is a berry. What does that mean actually?
Yeah, so that actually is what it says. A lot of people do not know pineapple are actually berries. A bunch of berries fused together on a central stalk. And because I found that fact to be so interesting is why I decided to name my company Dr. Pabs. It's an acronym. Pineapple is a berry.
Okay.
I wanted to be a conversation point for people, you know. I get challenged all the time on it. So it's like, okay, don't take my word for it. Google it.
Okay.
So yeah, that's where it comes from. And pineapples is one of my favorite fruit. And just the fact that I did not know, and when I did all this research and found out that they were actually berries, was amazing to me.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
So, first of all, on this space, we talk about mental health. It is definitely the core of what we focus on. So, I want to first check in with you. Where are you right now? Where is your heart? How are you feeling today?
Well, thank you for asking me that. This week has been a tumultuous week for me. Personal wise, business wise, it's up and down. And I needed to last night shut my brain off. Or else I was not going to get any sleep and be prepared for this interview. So I kind of put it in God's hands, and I said a prayer, and I put it on His table. What I can't control, He'll handle for me. So Thank you for asking, and I'm doing a lot better this morning.
So, Sherece, what's been saving you lately, even if it's small, like a certain song, ritual, a phrase, or laying down in the middle of the day?
Oh, what's been saving me?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Knowing that God would not bring me this far to let me go. Like, that is something that I've been saying. I said it last night, said it this morning, and I think about all the trials and tribulations that are happening in the world with this current administration and things of that nature. But I just know that if I, just keep being resilient, trucking forward, and not wallow in any type of sadness or pain, that things will work out the way they need to. So that's what's been keeping me on my positive path forward.
So, getting to your roots and your backstory, who is, Dr. Pabs, really?
Pabs is really me, but I'm just not a doctor. Having the group of doctors on the board of my company and the food scientist, I am more the creative vision. I am the one that comes up with the formula, but I do need the knowledge from these doctors. We talk it through. We talk about what are, even pediatricians, what kind of kids are coming into their offices, and what are they lacking? What do they need? And, I talk to parents. I go to all the medical conferences with these doctors, and I'm talking to them, learning from them. We're learning from each other. So that has been very, very fruitful for my business, to have these open conversations with these people, and who can be seen smarter than I am, as part of my crew. And so that is what we are, a brand that is inclusive. We do the research, we put in the work, Black woman owned, and financed by my bootstraps. So I think at the core of it, it's the love that my grandmother put in me. I am now packaging that and hoping to give that information to parents and kids to get them excited about their health and their future. Arming these kids to take on the world the best way they can, giving them the leg up.
I know you are a Howard alumna, and obviously a corporate boss, but who were you before all of that, before the world told you who you were supposed to be?
I was always driven. I was always driven. I was always busy. I loved as a child to read, and to just imagine and use my creativity, whether it was writing a story, going to plays. I loved the arts. At one point in my life, I remember wanting to be a fly girl.
Wow.
I love to dance. And I remember also being a young kid watching the Cosby. And Rudy, I was like, if Rudy could do it, I could do it. And I, dibbled and dabbled and studied theater and studied acting for television and film. And then I decided when I graduated from Howard, before I graduated, I took a directing class. And I realized that is what I wanted to focus on. And I had to experience all of that to find my path. I had to experience being a theater student, and then taking a different path of taking a directing class, and then understanding lighting and so on and so forth. And then that changed where I thought I was going to be, in front of the camera to behind the cameras. So that's who she was before she Howard and entered Howard. I was always into arts. I loved arts. I dance, especially. Theater. I was a theater buff and an athlete. I loved basketball. My brother played basketball, my older brother, and I wanted to meet him. I remember just like him. So I played basketball in high school. I ran track. I was always physical because my grandmother was very diligent about wanting us to take care of our bodies. Prevention to her was better than the cure. She had diabetes from our rich foods that we consume as West Indian people. And from the diabetes, she also developed high blood pressure, and the medications that was administered to her from these doctors, she could not maintain a healthy weight. So with that, came all types of trials and tribulations with her health. So she wanted us to be physical, active humans and take good care of ourselves. And, seeing her go through that pain of having those debilitating diseases, is what brings me here today.
Wow. That's awesome. So, as a Black woman, what made you want to get into the wellness space?
The truth is, nobody cares more about us than us, And, I remember reading an article and maybe about 20 years ago about Black women leading in head and neck cancer and throat cancer. The head and neck cancer, and they derived this thought process of maybe it was because of the perms that we were putting in our hair, the relaxers, and no lie and lie and all that stuff, which made me realize we have to be cognizant of what we're putting into our skin, what we're putting on our heads, what we're putting into our bodies, and things of that nature, because this is a little article that I just happened to bump into. Why isn't this not out to the masses about what we are doing and the beauty products that we're using, and we're poisoning ourselves?
Yeah.
So that's one reason health and wellness is super important to me, because I am living it. I am her. And, the goal for Dr. Pabs in the future is to be a complete wellness line for not just children, but for teenagers and adults and the geriatric community and the elderly and so on and so forth. But because, it's not inclusive. This world space is not inclusive. And for me, I grew up we were raised not consuming pork. And then I decided not to eat beef. And so I would have to find supplements that worked with me and not. And, a lot of people don't know that gelatin is pork, and the capsules that your vitamins encased in is a pork derived product. And if you don't consume pork and you're thinking you're doing something healthy for yourself, it's so I wanted to create the change I wanted to see in the world. And gummies are typically gelatin based, and I wanted to have a plant-based product for people who even if it's not religion or just personal choice, or that you are included in this community, in my community at least.
A lot of people don't think about those things, especially when so many people are on medications. And I mean, myself included, you don't think about the things that your medication are made out of. I don't think that's common knowledge that the medication itself is made out of animal byproducts.
Yeah, the capsule that the medication or the vitamin is encapsulated in. Yeah. Wow. If you see gelatin at the bottom of the ingredients list, that's what that is.
Why did you choose children to center around, your business? Talk to me about that.
Yeah. So growing up in New York, my father had a garden in the backyard where he planted tomatoes, green peppers, red peppers, and he had peppermint leaves and thyme. And that was my first experience of farm to table. And we also had this tradition where he would brew these herbs. I don't know if you know of it in your culture, but we have it in ours, in Jamaican culture, Sherece. And we had to drink that every 6 months. That was a way to clean your blood, clean your system.
Yeah, Sourcey.
Yes, your body. And, I had family members who they would get administered with it with a little bit of sugar, a little bit of honey. Not us.
We had it every morning.
Oh, Mom.
Yes.
So every 6 months was
Yeah, we had it every morning. Our parents said it was part of making your bones strong.
Oh, okay.
Well, we grew it in the backyard.
I'm sorry for you, sister. And people who don't know, this tea is bitter. It is not delicious. It smells bad. It is like the worst. And I mean,
yes,
run and hide and not take it, then that would be an option. But we had no option because it was either you have the tea or you get the belt. So, that was part of our tradition of not helping us not get sick. You're playing with your classmates, mingling with your friends, and in school, in elementary school, and you bring home all types of sicknesses, with the cold. And my grandmother lived with us, and again, he did not want to make the household sick, because if the kid is sick, everybody gets sick,
Yeah.
So, and even though we had the backyard and the Sherece and all that other stuff, he still administered vitamins as part of our routine. And because before he implemented the vitamins, I would come home with the sniffles. And then he implemented the vitamins and I didn't come home with the sniffles. No one got sick. We were fine. Life was all good. We could play and jiggle with our friends. So, with that being said, I remember that until this day. I take my vitamins. And I remember just loving my vitamins and reminding him, Dad, don't forget to give me my vitamins. And so I thought, why not start with the foundation, the kids? You start them early because a little goes a long way. And 20.7% of children, with a high percentage of that number being Black children, are affected by diabetes, heart disease, and obesity. We have to change that. And if I can get families excited about taking care of themselves, or even taking vitamins, if not my own vitamins or someone else's vitamins, if we can do that, then we can elongate our lives. We can, because our foods are processed and things of that nature. They're not healthy for us. And if you could start all right, I'll take my vitamins, and think, okay, how can I help my vitamins do well for me? How, for my body? That's the thought process I want. The conversation. It's pineapples are berries. Oh, these are also vitamins. Just a conversation I want people to have, either, with themselves or their families. How can I improve? How can I elongate my life? How can I just be better? Sharpen my mind? And so that's why I decided to start with children first.
Awesome. You created something rooted in representation, but also education. How do you balance being culturally specific and universally relevant?
Good point. Good question. I learn about the facts. And like I said, the 20.7% of kids, and with the high number, this is all kids, but the high number being Black kids, because I am a Black woman, it's I learn about everyone. I learn about everything. Hair is hair. You take, omega-6 is good for the heart, period. Black, white, or different. Asian, doesn't matter. Vitamin D, it's good for the bones, but we also know Black people need more vitamin D than any other race because we need the sun.
Yeah.
So it's all about it's universal. Taking care of yourself, health is universal. There are certain communities that need more than others, but the message is all the same. Let's take care of ourselves one step at a time, So it doesn't matter if you exercise 3 days a week, whether you're Black, white, it still helps you. It's all about your self-love and everybody may look at self-love differently. Like some women decide they like to spa, some women like to drink, or some, like, it's all different. But health is universal.
In wellness, we see a lot of whitewashing. How do you reclaim wellness as a birthright for us, not a luxury?
Because of the culture we come from. And I know there's some things that we have and we own and we do that no one can take away from us.
Yeah.
So, like, am I recalling that story about Cersei? Like, you had it every morning, and I wanted it only every 6 months.
Right?
Like, look at that. We are connected. It's a tradition and farm to table and things of that nature. Like, that stuff, no one, as much as anyone tries to take, and it doesn't change what comes from the motherland. Like, we know the best shea butter is going to come from Africa.
Exactly.
That's where it is.
Exactly.
So, I just don't get caught up into the negativity, because there's so much positive that can be breathed and lived from.
What's something people don't talk about enough when it comes to being a Black woman founder?
Black woman founder, the community. It's a community that once you're in the circle, because you have to go through certain things. You have to understand the craft or the business that you're building from the bottom up, or, but once you're in that circle, it's all a wonderful community. Once you're in communities with Black women in business, it's all a helping hand. You can't do it all on your own. And I know that some things I witnessed that are hard for us more than anyone else. Funding is very difficult to come by, and then their advice out there. Like, my corporate job was my very first investor. I used my money, my paychecks, to help me fund my business. But I know there are a lot of other people that don't have that luxury, and they want to. They want to start something. They want to make a change, create product that does create change and things of that nature. And I know that that's one thing that the statistics say, that funding for us is quite difficult. And then you get funding, you get capital from other companies and so on and so forth, and then they try to take your business away from you.
Yeah.
So we just have to be very careful and strategic, and don't rush. Take your time. I like talking to other entrepreneurs, and I ask them, what would they do differently? What would they do differently 10 years ago that they're doing now? And I try to learn from their mistakes. It's, take advice from these people who travel these uncharted territories, because sometimes we don't have a plan. We don't have, in a sense of, we don't have direction. We don't have someone saying, okay, you do this and you do this and you do that. There's no map for us. A lot of the times we're just thrown out there. We have a vision, we have a dream, and we're going forward to taking the steps. But I wish that there was more of a little bit of a guidance for us, so you don't waste as much money, you don't make the mistakes, and understanding your taxes and so on and so forth. But it's also part of the beautiful journey.
Have there been moments of doubt or even grief in this journey in building something from scratch?
Absolutely. Because I am a one-woman band, besides the fact that I have the doctors and the food scientists, a lot of the creative work is mine. I have to also make sure everything is spelled right, everything looks right, my vision is clear, the communication with what I'm trying to present is very clear. And there are times I'm tired at the end of the day. My eyes are like crisscrossed, and I'm thinking, and I'm spell checking, and I might miss something, and I might have ordered 2,000 of these flyers and I misspelled that, and now that's money down the drain. And that's some things that you have to eat, and like next time I'll do better, and things, and certain things in that realm of, God, if I had known, hindsight is 2020. If I had known to do that, then I would not have wasted this much money. And everyone tells you, don't use your own money, use someone else's money, but they don't tell you how. You hear that all the time when you hear gurus or business people say, don't use your own money. Okay, well, how am I supposed to use somebody else's money? Make that make sense. So, and then you learn because now you're in the right circles, you're around the right people. Just the conversation in itself is a college course in business. So, yeah, I definitely have made mistakes, and I've learned from them, and I will never do them again.
How do you feel the ancestors show up in your work and guide you in what you're doing?
I feel them every day rising up in me. And I think about my grandmother who migrated to the United States, and she brought her 7 children here. My grandfather did not want to take the journey with her. He did not want anything to do with the United States at all and wanted to stay in Jamaica. And I think about helping her get her path to citizenship with naturalization, and taking the test and taking the exam. I was like, maybe I was in high school, or junior high, and I'm helping her study. And I think about that. So I don't give up, because my grandmother chartered that course alone. Who am I to now feel sorry or sad for myself when I have a bad day? She did this by herself, came to New York by herself with her 7 kids. An amazing woman. And I would hear, she would tell me stories about her great aunt and her grandmother, and just the wisdom that was bestowed upon her, and she gave it to me. My grandmother was totally old school. Like, I had to make sure I wore my watch on my left hand. Ladies were not allowed to whistle. I left the house with my purse. I had to always have a cup of tea before I left my house. You have to warm up my belly and things like that. My head was my crown, my body, like certain things. Like, she gave me those beautiful gems that was taught to her. So tradition is important to me. My ancestors are important to me, and I don't plan on letting them down.
Wow, I love that. What's one thing you wish more Black women were taught about wellness?
In the phenomenon that a lot of women are lightening their skin or bleaching their skin, that's one thing that that hurts me. Knowing that they're beautiful, no matter light, dark, just be beautiful. No matter what they say, or what we see on TV or in the magazine, that we are the standard.
What's your favorite form of rest right now?
Sleeping.
I feel you. I'm with you on that one.
I won't get a lot of rest, so when I do, I cherish it. Like, I'm like, like that little baby in the so happy to be here. Like,
hi Mom, I get it.
Yeah, like that little bit of like when you first get in and you nuzzle in the blankets, that's just laying all the worries on the floor and just letting God take them away, and that is rest. Rest.
I agree.
So much on us every day. We walk out that door, come home, and just rest, sleep.
If legacy had a scent, a sound, and a texture, what would yours be?
Legacy. The scent would be the first the first signs of summer. You know, in the morning, the birds are chirping and the sun comes out, and it's just the air smells just a little bit hot.
Ooh.
Yes, that would be the scent. The sound would be anything Billie Holiday or anything Bob Marley, or just
I feel you.
happiness. Scent, sound, and what's the other one?
Texture.
Texture. Would be like a nice, soft pashmina silk scarf. You know, it's just luxury.
Expensive.
Yes.
I love it. Finish this sentence. Success for me looks like.
Success for me at any given month or at any given time changes form for me. And 1 month it could be I cooked every meal that I consume. I love to cook for myself.
Oh, yeah.
Success for me at another time could be I achieved my weight goals as I worked out 3 times a week, or, you know, success for me is waking up in the morning every morning and being able to live the life that I want to live. That is success. Ultimately, I wake up and I do the things that I enjoy, bringing love and light into the world. That is success. I have full movement in my arms and my extremities, and I have love and light in my heart. Success.
Wow. What's next for you, Sherece?
What's next? The goal for Dr. Pabs is, like I said before, to be a full round wellness line. My goal in 2025 is for it to meet as many people and get the name and the brand out there as much as I can, and getting people talking, communicating about pineapples actually being berries, and about love and light and treating ourselves kindly and putting the best things we can into our bodies. That's what's next.
My very last question for you is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you right now and why?
I am naturally a happy person. Like, I am just a giggly, happy, may even come off ditzy because I'm because I have gratitude. I love the fact that my grandmother was there to help me, to help raise me, to mold me, to sharpen me. I mean, she was insistent about reading and writing and hooked on phonics. And, you know, she saw that commercial and she ordered it for me, and we read the Bible every night before we went to bed. And I just have gratitude because I don't know where I would be without her. I don't know where I would be without God. And I know that I am here for a reason. And I plan on living my life with love and power.
Thank you so much for being on the show. This has been such an incredible conversation. Where can people find you? If you would go ahead and drop your handles.
Okay, so my social media for my brand, Dr. Pabs, is Dr. So it's Dr. period PBABS _. So that's Dr. Pabs _. My founder page is Sherece the Founder, SHERECE the Founder. And for the product, if you're interested, is drpabs.com. So that's drpabs.com.
Thank you so much. Again, thank you for being here. It has been an absolute honor to connect with you and share space with you. This has been another episode of Unapologetically Anxious Me, Confessions of a Haitian Girl. Until next time, bye.
Bye.